Coming up tonight, the New York Fire Department held a press conference about the vaccine mandate for New York City employees.
A man from Wayne County died in a rollover accident on Bunker Hill Road.
And SUNY Oswego Counseling Services is hosting events this week for International Stress Awareness Week. WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now. Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Thomas Caffarella.
And I'm Peyton Ashford.
It's International Stress Awareness Week. SUNY Oswego's Counseling Services Center is holding a variety of events this week for students to help with stress and anxiety.
The events will include arts and crafts activities as well as nature walks and ecotherapy. The activities are made to give students a different approach to dealing with stress and anxiety. Students are welcome to attend these events starting today and going until Thursday. They can also sign up for individual or group sessions.
Knowing that not all students are comfortable in a traditional counseling setting, the Counseling Center is also setting up a drop-in space at Penfield Library and Lakeside Dining Hall called Let's Talk, a way to just chat with counselors about anything you want.
Counseling services and events are free to all students, and for more information, visit the Counseling Services website.
Heading into its 16th year, hundreds of Laker athletes are eager to rake leaves on November 7th for the local senior citizens. This project is a part of the annual statewide community service put on by the Student Athlete Advisement Council. Services provided by the Lakers are limited to the first 50 yards. Contact a SAAC advisor or softball head coach Gabrielle Rivers at 315-312-2828.
Fulton Mayor Deanna Michaels announced that the American Rescue Plan's $50,000 funding will go towards local organizations and clubs and not for monetary gain. Michaels says the importance of awarding this money to the organizations, clubs, and not-for-profits is their way of giving back to those who serve our community in so many ways, end quote. The campaign will run throughout the month of November, seeking to give back to clubs that need it the most.
St. Francis Commons in Oswego is completing a transition to improve their healthcare services. The nonprofit care center will phase out of their memory care services, which will allow the organization to offer traditional assisted living programs to all of their residents. Once the transition is complete, residents of St. Francis Commons will be served in New York State licensed assisted living programs. If interested in the residency application progress, contact St. Francis Commons at 315-260-807.
A former Oswego County pastor suffering from dementia was found safe in Pennsylvania after going missing this weekend. Craig Wilson was last seen at about 9 a.m. Saturday on Michael's Way in the village of Central Square, according to an alert sent out by New York State. Central Square Village Police Chief Ed Carroll says the 73-year-old used a credit card to check into a motel in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which alerted his family. Wilson's family drove to Wilkes-Barre to pick him up and bring him home.
At approximately 11 p.m. this past Friday, state police were dispatched to a rollover crash in the town of Oswego. A 64-year-old man was southbound on Bunker Hill Road when he lost control of his vehicle and drove off the shoulder of the road. His vehicle struck an embankment and overturned. The man was pronounced dead at the scene.
A tragic surveillance video captured a man throwing a Molotov cocktail into a Brooklyn deli, setting it on fire on Saturday, October 30th. 38-year-old Joel Mango was arrested for the alleged use of improvised incendiary devices at the Nostrand Avenue Deli, according to New York City Fire Department Commissioner Daniel Nigro. Firefighters who arrived to the deli within 3 minutes quickly brought the situation under control and also provided medical treatment for a person who suffered injuries that were non-life-threatening.
He was threatening, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna burn the store, I'm gonna burn the building down.
Scary moments as a disgruntled customer follows through on his threat. It was a Molotov cocktail that police say Joel Mangle threw. Seconds later, everything was up in flames. Mohammed Abdullah's father owns the bodega, and Mohammed was working behind the counter when it happened.
It was in so fast, you won't believe it. I was there working in the deli. I had customers. Out of nowhere, I just heard the glass on fire in my face.
It happened on Nostrand Avenue in Halsey just before 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Abdullah, seen here, says he ran through the flames to safety. He suffered burns to his arms and is thankful no one was seriously hurt. He says things could have been a lot worse if a quick-thinking Good Samaritan, seen here, didn't knock a second explosive to the ground.
If the second one would have came here, the whole building would have been on fire.
The fire commissioner says, fortunately, there was no loss of life here, end quote. The New York Fire Department will continue to work alongside local, state, and federal partners to bring justice to those who use fire as a weapon against New Yorkers, Nigro added. Mango is charged with arson, reckless endangerment, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal mischief. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office will prosecute the case.
New York City's vaccine mandate for first responders is now in full effect. Those that are unvaccinated without exemption are placed on unpaid leave. One organization that was particularly hurt by the mandate was the New York Fire Department, with an estimated reports of 2,000 firefighters out on medical leave. An emergency press conference was held today by the fire department union leaders, urging firefighters to return to work regardless of vaccination status.
We are not anti-vaccine. We have never been anti-vaccine. We're anti-mandate. As we all know, the city and the country wants to be past COVID.
New York Mayor Bill de Blasio says that since the mandate, there has been over 22,000 new vaccinations, 3,000 of which were over this weekend. And coming up later tonight, White House Press Secretary Psaki has tested positive for COVID-19. Did she expose the president?
And world leaders are meeting in Europe this week to discuss climate change.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Nicholas Casano.
Had a great Halloween last night. This week we're looking at a very windy Tuesday and possible rain and snow over the next few days. So you may want to pull out your jeans and sweatpants if you haven't already to combat the 21-mile-per-hour wind gusts and possible snow. Also, there is a hazardous weather advisory for the Tug Hill and western Adirondacks area for 2 to 5 inches of snow tomorrow. Don't worry about all this cold weather because this weekend's going to be nice and Sunday. More weather after the break.
Driving a truck for 40 years now. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. Like the trucks can't stop quickly. It takes my 80,000-pound truck 200 yards to come to a complete stop. So I always do my best to give a lot of cushion. It helps when other drivers realize that and do the same. Please give trucks the space we need so we can all stay safe. It's our roads, it's our safety.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. I'm WTOP 10 meteorologist Nicholas Casano. So we're going to have a windy day Tuesday/tomorrow. Chance of rain and snow throughout the week, and there's going to be a cloudy but clear weekend. So if you look at this map here, you can see right here that we have our Oswego here. So actually we have above average high for this type of year. Usually it's around 48 for the highs, but today we actually reached the 53. And if you notice over here, we have a little bit of a storm coming in over in that left corridor. And that's actually going to be affecting the weather statement that I talked about earlier with Allegheny, the Tug Hill and Adirondacks. Next up, we're going to be talking about tonight's forecast. It's going to be 43 degrees tonight, chance of showers until the morning, and you can notice that the wind is going to be southwest, 13 to 21 miles per hour. So as I said before, it's going to be really windy. Tomorrow, for 9 a.m., we have a little bit cloudy, 44 degrees, as I keep on saying, windy. The wind starts picking up a little bit, noon into 3. It's going to be showers, 48, 49, very similar, but make sure, you go out dressed up, all nice and warm. Next up, we're going to be talking about my favorite part, the fall foliage. So you can see over here that we have, in our area, Oswego, we're kind of changing into the near peak. So you should be seeing the leaves starting to fall off more and more. And up there in Adirondacks, where we're going to have that snow, it's going to peak right now, a little bit maybe past peak. So hopefully all the leaves will be on the ground for you guys for when the snow comes along. This is up with the weekly forecast. So Tuesday, we have it being rainy, breezy. It's going to be nice and windy. Wednesday, it's going to be rainy. Thursday, this is a fun day. So there's going to be a chance of showers, and later in the afternoon, it's going to be a chance of snow. But we're not 100% sure on that, so make sure it is a chance of snow. And the rest of the week, we have nice, sunny, cloudy, beautiful days. More news coming up after the break.
When you are in space, you can't run down to the store to buy parts. You have to improvise with what you have on your mission. Making is when there is something new that was not in existence at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
It's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you have made something. That's why I make. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Total, Baldwin faces 32 charges.
Saturday, I went to Woodchuck Saloon.
Too much temperature change.
1310 meteorologist.
2 as well. Visions from Tanner Spink go to 2 and 1. 2 with 6 and 10 on the year.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki announced that she has tested positive for COVID-19. Psaki is suffering from a breakthrough case of COVID-19, which came from contact with a family member. The press secretary entered quarantine on Wednesday and was expected to go to Europe with President Biden this week for the climate change talks in Italy. White House officials say that there is no risk that the president was exposed to the virus.
We have another development in COVID-19 news as the CDC is voting on Tuesday to authorize vaccines for children ages 5 through 11. Britt Conway has more information from doctors who break down concerns parents are having.
You're gonna do great. And go.
And the go-ahead for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for kids 5 to 11 could happen this week. Recommendation of emergency use authorization from the FDA's vaccine advisors. Check. Official EUA from the FDA. Check. The CDC's vaccine advisors are set to vote tomorrow, and then the CDC director is expected to officially recommend it. So kids 5 to 11 could be getting their shots as soon as Wednesday.
This is awesome. There are no serious side effects given this lower dose of the vaccine to this lower group of kids, and it still protects kids from getting the infection.
But only about a quarter of parents say they'll get their kids vaccinated right away. 2/3 say they're worried it could affect their child's future fertility.
There's nothing in the data to suggest that. And there's nothing in the data to suggest that that happens with adults either. There's also no biologically plausible mechanism through which that would occur.
Between the virus and the vaccine, doctors say the greatest risk is COVID-19.
COVID has bad complications with children. Doesn't have it with all children, but has many. And it also has the complications in this young group of having long-term issues, whether it's having symptoms that last longer than 2 months, which is the long COVID that people talk about, or developing a very serious life-threatening condition called multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. And if I have a choice, I'd rather use this super safe vaccine to get them back into school and back to their normal life.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
The Biden administration has already begun assembling and shipping millions of COVID-19 shots in anticipation of the CDC approving the vaccine for children.
Majority of justices on the Supreme Court appeared willing on Monday to let the abortion clinics in Texas continue their challenge against the state's strict abortion laws. Texas asked the court to block a lawsuit that was brought on by the abortion clinics against the nation's most restrictive abortion law in the state. This law bans abortions after doctors can detect the fetal heartbeat about 6 weeks into the pregnancy.
Mexico's Dia de los Muertos celebration has returned to an in-person format after being canceled last year due to the pandemic. Last year, traditional visits to the graveyard were prohibited, and many families celebrated from home with improvised altars while others snuck into the cemeteries despite the COVID-19 precautions put in place. At least 288,000 people have died from COVID-19 in Mexico, although officials' records suggest a total closer to 440,000, making the country the 4th highest in the world for COVID-related deaths.
Shanghai Disneyland was suddenly closed on late Sunday, leaving over 30,000 guests stuck in the park. Before leaving, each guest had to take a COVID test because one guest tested positive for the virus on Saturday. The park's lockdown and possible closing shows how serious China is about enforcing their zero COVID policy.
Climate change is in the spotlight today as more than 120 world leaders are in Glasgow, Scotland. Setting the tone for 2 weeks of negotiations, they hope will produce a global plan to address the climate crisis. Isabel Rosales reports.
Experts say COP26 may be the world's last best chance to address the climate crisis.
That desperate hope is why the world is looking to you.
A report published by the UN in August called a Code Red for Humanity, showing the world is warming faster than previously thought.
We are digging our own graves. Enough of treating nature like a toilet. Enough of burning and drilling and mining our way deeper.
Despite leaders from China and Russia skipping the conference, negotiations will proceed with a goal to produce a plan to rapidly decarbonize the planet.
If we fail, they will not forgive us.
But there is skepticism of promises versus action. 6 G20 countries, including the U.S., never met their targets to cut greenhouse emissions under the 2015 Paris Agreement. President Joe Biden vowing the U.S. will lead the world.
Let this be the moment that we answer history's call.
The White House set to launch a long-term climate strategy to get to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. As Biden touts climate change measures and his ambitious legislative agenda, currently inching forward on Capitol Hill.
My administration is working overtime to show that our climate commitment is action, not words.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
The COP talks will continue to November 12th.
Coming up, Brandon Ladd has your local and national sports coverage.
Brandon, can you give us a quick preview of what happened this weekend?
Thank you, guys. We had a busy weekend in Oswego State sports. Let me get you up to date after the break. You are watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities.
At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I am Brandon Ladd, and let's get right into the world of sports around Oswego State, starting with the upset victory this weekend. For the first time since 1965, the Oswego State Lakers have beaten the Oneonta Red Dragons in men's soccer. The scene was a SUNYAC playoff quarterfinal game in Oneonta. The Lakers were able to escape penalty kicks with a 2-1 victory following the game going to PKs after the score being tied at 1 after 110 minutes. The break in penalty kicks came after Oneonta missed its fourth shot. Sophomore Brendan Murphy stepped up and buried the fifth straight kick for Oswego, giving the Lakers a 5-4 advantage and a ticket to the semifinal to face Cortland this upcoming weekend. The men's hockey team for Oswego had a rough weekend facing two top 15 teams in the national rankings. The Lakers lost to Hobart 3-1 on Friday night at home. Hobart's physicality proved to be too much. Then on the road Saturday night, the Lakers lost 5-4 to Elmira after storming back from a 3-0 first period deficit. The Lakers start the season 0-2 and will enter the SUNYAC play on the road against Potsdam this Friday. The Oswego State women's hockey team fared much better than the men's as they start the season 2-0. This came after an upset victory over Adrian College Friday evening in Michigan by a score of 2-1. Megan Teachout scored both goals. The Lakers followed this up with a win against Trine University in Indiana on Saturday by the same score. Buffalo State comes to town on Saturday to start SUNYAC play. Things actually went well for the New York Jets yesterday, despite not having starting quarterback Zach Wilson. The task of leading the usually pitiful Game Green offense fell on Mike White. White stepped up with over 400 yards, leading the Jets to a 34-31 win over the Bengals. Things went as usual for the Bills. They were able to escape with a 26-11 win in Buffalo over the Miami Dolphins. The Giants go for the weekend sweep for New York football tonight against the Chiefs. They have some work to do. The score is currently 14-7 in the second quarter. And let's take a closer look at this Bills-Dolphins game. Bills looking for their 7th straight win. Started early in the first quarter. Saunders trying to help out the Dolphins. It doesn't work. He misses wide left. The Bills try to take advantage of it. 3rd and 10, Josh Allen, he's going to ponder right. He's going to ponder left. He's going to shake. He's going to bake. Then he falls forward for good measure. The Bills' home crowd loving it. Bass takes advantage of this. A few plays later, makes the 57-yard field goal. The Bills take a 3-0 lead. Advance to the 3rd. Josh Allen says, "Get off me." Finds Gabriel Davis. The Bills take advantage of the touchdown, take a 10-3 lead. The Bills aren't done. Dolphins bring the house, no problem for Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs, a ceremonial punt into the stands. I didn't even know that was allowed. 17-3 Dolphins. Tua and the Dolphins trying to get back into it. Lets it rip on 4th and 6 to Gesicki. Gesicki falls down to the 4-yard line. Dolphins are in business. 2 plays later, Tua with a little help, a push. The Dolphins are back in at 17-9. Brian Flores says, "Let's go for 2." As Tua fakes the run, finds Gesicki again, The Dolphins are right back into it, 17-11. The Bills add a field goal. Tua, last-ditch effort. It's going to be picked off by Jordan Poyer. The Bills hold on to win this game 26-11.
Well, guys, happy November 1st, I guess you could say. Obviously, just recently it was Halloween weekend. Did you guys enjoy your Halloween?
I did. It went pretty well. I skated and I dressed up as Little Red Riding Hood. So.
Oh, really? What about you?
Yeah, I was kind of basic with my costume. I went as a football coach, had a whistle, had a headset, kind of easy to put together.
Wow.
Had a good time with friends, though. Saturday and Sunday was nice. Halloween falling on Sunday. Could actually hang out with friends all weekend. What about you guys?
Well, I personally dressed as Mr. Clean. I went to Spirit. I got the bald cap on,
so funny.
and I took a mustache too, cut it in half, painted it, put it on my eyebrows because he's got the white eyebrows.
That's a good idea.
What about you, Nick?
I didn't dress up for Halloween this year, but I really enjoyed watching Hocus Pocus with my friends on Sunday night.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so obviously, right after Halloween, usually a lot of people turn to Christmas. They usually gloss over Thanksgiving, obviously. And are you guys looking forward to that? Yeah.
I am.
For sure.
I am.
And
I love how everyone, as a collective, we all agree, like, just forget about Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Celebrate Christmas. So.
And Nick, how's the weather looking
Well,
tonight?
I said before, the weather, next few days, it's going to be rainy, chance of snow, but definitely, like, this weekend, it's going to be nice and beautiful, get to do all those nice activities. How about sports? What's going on with sports?
Yeah, it was kind of an amazing weekend in Oswego State sports. As I said, Oswego beat Oneonta for the first time since 1965. Wow. So as the 6th seed, they stay alive in the playoffs. They're going to go and face 2-seeded Cortland now, so we'll see how they do this upcoming weekend.
It should be quite the matchup. Well, that's our report for tonight, everybody. Be sure to stay tuned for...
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Our son Arjun was born with cystic fibrosis. CF is a genetic disease that shortens lives. When the foundation was founded in 1955, children with CF rarely lived long enough to attend kindergarten. Today, thanks to the foundation's groundbreaking research, advocacy, and care, some people with CF are attending college, getting married, and starting families. We've made amazing progress, but until a cure is found for all people with CF, we will not stop. Help us add tomorrows. Visit cff.org today.
Is there a danger hiding in your home? Unused opioid medicines could harm your family. Find your unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups and learn how to dispose of them safely at fda.gov/drug disposal.